Welcome, welcome, ladies and gentlemen. We are back for another episode of Soul Flow Conversation. I am your host, Dedrick, the Cookie Man, and my co-host Jessica Fields will be on shortly. Matter of fact, we got some more guests popping up. All right, so so I just wanted to say welcome. Like I said, welcome back to another episode of Soul Flow Conversations, where we're going to be talking about some grown folk business, and we're not going to do it in a messy manner and whatnot. So, and just some ground rules for those that's going to be joining us. No N words and no B words, and that's it. We all grown folk here. We can talk freely and whatnot. And so, first and foremost, without further ado or delay, I want to welcome our guest to the panel and whatnot. We got a new guest, ladies and gentlemen. We got Miss Cora coming here to,
Hey Cora, what's
you know what
up?
I'm saying?
Hey, boy.
And also one of our regulars, you know what I'm saying, Mr. Maurice is in the
Yo, yo,
house.
yo,
How
what's
you doing,
good?
brother? How you doing?
Living life, man.
Oh, not living the life. All right, okay.
That's that's the best way to
Well,
do it.
happy new
If you do it any other
yeah,
way,
well,
you're in
happy new
trouble.
year. And I know we're getting started a little later in the year, 3 months in, but
Yeah.
life is happening and whatnot. So we felt like this was the best time to go ahead and just crank it right on back up and get us started back up with Soul Flow conversations and whatnot. How you been, Maury?
Nothing. Doing like I said, living life, man. How about you? Because you've been busy, 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 busy.
Yeah, it's been super busy, and in a positive way though, in
Yeah,
a
doing great
positive way.
things, bro. Can't
Yes,
wait to turn
indeed.
on
And
the
as
TV
you can
and
see,
catch you on my on a show or something, man.
yeah, I'm waiting for that too. They got to send me the information or send me the green light that we're a go. But I'm anticipating that to start happening in the fall, closer
Okay.
to the fall. So as soon as they let us know, we'll let you guys know. So, but yes, but like I said, we have a new face to our panel here, Miss Cora, very talented, multifaceted young lady.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? Uh, and she's also someone that I know from my cookie routes and stuff like that. She's a beautician as well. Let her tell us about herself a little bit and whatnot. So Cora, go ahead and tell us about yourself a little bit. Just a little something.
Well, there's so many things to say, but I'm just going to touch the surface of those so many things to say. I am a licensed cosmetologist. I always say that just to be on the classy side of it from beautician because I'm the unique beautician. But I also single mom of five, four boys, one girl. What else? I used to be a formal clown, so now I'm a mixed media artist, poet slash entertainer for the kids. So I collage it all into one at my shop where I cater to tender kids and people who can't handle the big stresses of getting their hair done and let them come to the shop, which is the hair lounge, and they could do activities, things there. Um, and yeah, that's it so far. Uh, the
That's it.
rest can be. I mean, I am an author, but I don't say too much about it. I was just experiencing it. And
That's good. That's good.
substitute teacher, yeah, substitute teacher, and I work overnight at Dollar Tree. So I got a couple of different jobs to support, the kids, and I don't like to make excuses. I just like to get it done for the most part
That's
of it. But the clown is my at heart thing. Like I'm a clown at heart and an artist at heart. Like I love visual artists and just seeing things about life that to give me more lessons and meanings to what life is all about. So yeah, that's it for now.
I can definitely relate. I can definitely relate. And whatnot, and that's great. That's great. And welcome to Soul Flow Nation and whatnot. And like I said, Maurice has been around for quite a while and whatnot. He's been here, and Maurice is a little different than everybody else. Maurice is a very analytical
Why you gotta say
person.
that?
Yeah, because I got to say it like that because But Maurice doesn't see things black and white. He sees things shaded of
Yeah, you let him
lavender,
get to know me. What the
red,
heck, bro?
burgundy.
Like, you see this?
You know what I'm saying? So he tries to kind of encompass all the different facets of what a subject is and all that stuff like that. So
Yeah.
you know, yeah. So 2 + 2 ain't 2 to him. It's just red or square. No, I'm just messing. I'm just messing with. I haven't talked to my boy in a minute, so I had to mess. But yeah. So what we're going to be doing tonight? We're going to be starting with. I said, how to, basically the title is Changing Narratives. However, we're going to be diving into some scenario questions and stuff like that. Because one in particular, I was actually on the radio today. Because I called into a radio show, WHUR here in DC, and they had a question. And that question, well, the lady wrote in, and she says, "Well, I went on a date, and the date went well. The guy, everything about the date was great, right? She said the guy was cool, the conversation was great, everything was just flowing. And then when it came time for him to pay the bill, he pulled out his Groupon. It was a Groupon. And then she said she felt." In her words, she said she felt the ick. She felt
the ick. Yeah, that's
because he used the Groupon, right? So, wait a minute. We got who we got here? Who do we got here?
Ooh, just got bread in
it's the phenomenal. This, ladies and gentlemen, this is my co-host, the illustrious. I did say illustrious. I was wanting to lose that word some kind of way. I didn't know where. But this is the phenomenal Miss Jessica Fields. Miss Fields, thank you so much for joining. This is so great to see you.
Yeah, it's been a while. Glad to be back.
So you're not gonna say hi to me?
Yeah, it's been a minute and a half.
Hi, Maurice.
Yeah.
There it is.
So much.
And as you can see, you have some more estrogen on the stage.
Thank God.
All you need to do is request some more estrogen. I would have brought it.
So Jessica, this is Cora.
Hi, Cora.
And whatnot. I know Cora and whatnot. She's a very talented young lady and whatnot. So I just wanted she wanted to come on and feed us with all her greatness as well. So I really appreciate her for coming on and stuff like that. But yeah,
That's
so
wonderful.
what we're doing. I think I have one more person.
In a couple minutes, I'm gonna have to go off camera because it's bath time, and Momo's probably gonna run out here naked.
Oh. Okay,
We don't want that, okay?
No, we don't want that. No,
yeah, mommy's on.
We don't want that because we don't want the cancelers to come on. Oh my God, they're doing this to children. Oh my God. So we don't want that.
Right.
So, but it's great to see you, Jessica. I missed you. I missed you.
I missed you too.
So yeah. So today, like I was explaining, we're gonna be talking about. You know how we do sometimes. Because it's going to segue into other things. However, we were talking about ways to change the narratives between men and women. But I proposed a scenario question. Well, I didn't even get to the question yet. But when I saw you pop up, I went to a commercial break. I was like, look, we're gonna have to welcome Miss Fields to the house. But so I told them that I was on our local radio station, WHUR, and they had someone write in that she said, well, she went on the first date. On the first date went well. It flowed. The guy was great. Conversation was wonderful. Everything was going great about the first date and stuff like that. But she said at the end of the date, at the end of what they were doing, he pulled out a Groupon and paid for the date with a Groupon. and she said she felt the ick. She said she felt some kind of way about it. She felt the ick is what she said. And so the question was it okay for him to use a Groupon for the first date and whatnot? So they had people write in and call in and whatnot, and I just happened to get through. I was like, "What? I got through." So anyway, was it okay? Is it okay to use a Groupon for a first date? Y'all
I
Are you
ponder on
angry?
that.
I was gonna say, I personally, so Billy's cheap, but he's not cheap, if that makes sense.
Okay.
But that's why we can afford the things that we have and do the things that we do, because he knows how to budget, he knows how to save, he knows where to spend. Look, when we go places, look, let's say it's he'll pull out his AAA card, he'll pull out his teacher's card. And do I get a discount for being a teacher? Do I get it? And my wife's a veteran, but baby, get your ID. Let's get all the discounts. So no, to me, that's a sign of fiscal responsibility, in my opinion.
Okay.
And it's the first date, so maybe he just didn't want to spend a whole bunch of money on you because it's the first date.
Okay. All right, Miss Cora, I'll let you go next, and then I'll let Maurice go after you.
My mind is a little different. You know, like you got Picasso and all of them. I'm a little up there with them, and then understanding what she's saying, because I like her response, because some women go straight to, he put out a Groupon, so the girl who was on the radio, that's one of them type of women. I think the world, as vivid as it is, everybody has their own perspective, and when you're with somebody, when somebody comes out, let him be himself. I mean, he knows how to save money. That's what that tells me. He also, is like, it's not like he said, "Oh, I'm about to pull out a Groupon." He just did it. So that means he's making his own choices and decisions at this point, because some guys can't even say take over the bill. So my whole thing is, let him be himself. If everything else was good about this guy, it's going to be some off points. And if a Groupon is an off point, I'll take that any day.
Okay. Maurice, what you got to say about this here?
Yeah, I was afraid of this because, well, let me answer it this way. If that's me, I'm not bringing no Groupon to a first date. That's just me, my preference. And it's because of the social stigma that's around it. And when you're on a first date, as much as first date is no different than like a interview, There's the interview, and then there's you, the employee. You know what I'm saying? These are these are two individuals, But what I'm hearing from these ladies is a very, very logical answer. When they're talking about the ick and all this stuff, like that, these all are emotional responses, right? Y'all coming at very, like, we're talking about like how you feel about the situation. And for me, it's completely understandable that somebody would feel the ick. Or when you see something like that on a first date, because remember I said, there's the interview, right? Or versus you, the employee. These are two different things.
Okay. What I said was along the lines of what Jessica said when they asked me. I said that they said, "Well, what do you think about it?" I said, "Well, I think that sounds like financial intelligence. I think that somebody, because like Joe Claire said, what if he didn't like you? Like, what if you know what I'm saying, it didn't go well, or whatever the case is. He says he don't even know if he gonna like you or not. So why would you, so he used the Groupon. So my whole take is that it's fiscally intelligent, it's financially intelligent to do something that's smart. Number one, using the Groupon is smart, because not only do you get a nice package of whatever it is that's included in the Groupon, you're not sitting here breaking the bank. That's the first date. You're there to get to know each other. So if you got the ick because he used the Groupon, what really are you there for? A free meal? Like, what are you trying to do? Because my thing is that you're there to get to know the person. Now you don't know whether or not you're going to even like the person, but you and your feelings. Now the co-host, she said that nah, she said I'm all for if we're in a relationship or we deeper down and you using the Groupon and I don't have. He said and I said hold on, because what I said was, so you trying to tell me that a guy gotta spend a stack on you on the first date? She said $1,000. I forgot that in a stack it means 1,000 and what.
Catch up on your
I said
lingo,
no,
bro.
it don't have to be no $1,000. What I'm saying is that you trying to tell me he's got to spend a whole bunch of money on a first date. Y'all don't even know if you're gonna really like each other or click or nothing, but you're requiring that he spend. She's like, no, because if for me, we can go to a park, we can do this. It ain't all about the money. I said, hold on, wait, time out. You just said don't use no Groupon on no first date. You literally just said that, but in the same sentence said it's not always about the money. We could go to a park or we can go to a picnic. We could do. Well, what's the difference if him just saving some freaking money on the dinner or the experience or whatever it was that first date was, and he's paying for it with the Groupon, and then on top of that, you ain't paying for it. So why do you got a problem with how he paid for it?
Hey, quick, what is a Groupon? I'm sure it's like a coupon, but it sounds like it's a little different.
You over here, you don't know how to save money. You're supposed to be a stay-at-home mom. You're supposed to be the one that's telling us about Living Social and Groupon and all that stuff.
I am, but here's
No,
the
I'm
thing.
gonna call you on that, man. I'm gonna call you on that. You slacking.
No, it's because I don't go out to eat very often.
It's not about going out to eat.
Look, let me let me
answer your question. Groupon.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, you good. So basically, what Groupon is just when you get off of here or while you're on here, or you can look on your phone, however you do it. But Groupon is basically different things. It's not just food. It's adventure stuff. It's outing stuff. It's a whole lot of different things that you can save money on. And all of these businesses and places, they have a certain package and discount that you can use. When you get there, you just present them with the code because you're going to prepay for it. Once you prepay for it, like it might be a dinner for two, but it's a 3-course meal. But instead of the regular price, it'll be a very discounted price. But you still get all of that for that discounted price. That's all Groupon is.
Yeah, the last Groupon I used was actually not too long ago to get my car detailed. And instead of like $130, it was like $80 with the Groupon.
Yeah. So that's all it is.
It's a good way to discover new places too, as well. So, you know.
Yeah. You can get spa treatments. You can get so much stuff through Groupon.
You got a clean spa one for $30. Shoot.
Okay, like I said, I ain't never heard of it. That's why I had to ask. I might have to look into that. I just know Groupon, and then I figured coupon, so I knew it was something to do with the discount. But a lot of the stuff that we do, I cook at home. We own timeshares, so I don't really need discounts when I go to my timeshares, and so we don't really have a need often to use it. But I'll definitely look into it.
Yeah, Living Social is another one.
Yeah, Living. Yeah. That's the one I started off with because I didn't know too much about Groupon, but I knew about Living Social because I think the headquarters is up here in DC.
Yeah, I don't even know about Living Social. So see,
look at that. I guess I'm on it. Y'all slacking.
You just said something about the guy. You just said something about the guy who pulled out the coupon, but then he said something about another one. So sometimes certain moves tell you about a person, which that guy thinks smart because the girl said everything else was right about him. She just one of them bougie girls. So that's what I think.
No, I mean, listen. For me, first dates, you gotta let everything ride. You bring your best, and you let them bring their best, right?
You putting on an act, that would be an act.
Say again?
You putting on the act though, because if you bring your best somewhere, you want somebody to be real. So at least you could be your real self. And I know, but when you 40, 50 years old and over, you don't want nobody. Don't bring me your best because this not gonna be you for the rest of the time. Already that's going to tell you. So this guy's been real at this point. Maybe you got to open your mind up to some more things so you don't waste your time bringing your best to women that ain't really their best for you.
No, I mean,
How about
like I
that?
said, other people don't
And I mean,
dictate how
she
you
still
come.
got the full meal, right?
Right.
I mean, you got another date. He might have
Of
thought he might have been
course.
like, just give me an idea to do, because some men ain't got ideas for dates. So Groupon probably be his best friend.
Right.
Right, and then
now,
he saved. So he saved. Maybe he saved money on that, and he'd be like, you know what? Since I saved money on that, you want to catch a movie or you want to go do this? Because I
Yeah.
saved a little bit of money on that. I got a little extra. You know.
Mhm.
I gotta ask though, these people in this example, because
Okay.
age keeps coming up. Because she talk about 40, 50 years old over there. And then this one over here speaking like a mom that owns a house, right?
Okay.
So you gotta take age into account, because like I need y'all to think back to like if you was like, 17, 18, 19s, 20s, and how your mind at that time would react to something like that.
We know she ain't 17 because she ain't
Mhm.
getting into the radio station talking about a date and everything was perfect and Groupon. So we know she a little older. And then she said it is not a noun word, new generation word. It is probably back in the day. So unless you may be in the category of the, the baby boomers or the now generation Z or whatever they call it, but you all of that ig word right there, it just says a lot. Everything a person does, it says a lot. It says a lot or it says a little bit. So just her thinking about the Groupon, that's really no big deal. And most times guys would like the fact that a woman is thinking that it's no big deal, because it's not like it's embarrassing her, or it's not like, he said some called her out of her name or something. He just making moves, smart moves at that. So he got to be a little older to be thinking, because he pulled out the Groupon and he's really confident in himself, actually.
Yep. And the other side of it too is I was looking at that and I was like, wouldn't you want a man to be responsible financially, to watch everything? Because if he's just frivolous, just spending all this big money to try to impress you, so now you got to think, okay, is this the real him, or is he just doing this to impress me? So which one is it? Because I'm gonna tell you right now, I wouldn't start something that isn't sustainable. Why would I take you to Ruth Chris on our first date? I'm not taking you to Ruth Chris on my first date. You ain't worth that yet. I haven't determined whether or not you're valuable enough to me to do that. You know what I'm saying? I don't even know if I like you like that. Like, so why am I going to break the bank taking you to some grandiose situation? I'm not saying just throw anything at a woman. No, don't do that. Go someplace that is nice, something that is fun, maybe make something that is interactive so y'all can get to know each other's personality, but put some effort in it. So he put enough effort to find a good deal and find something that you both can enjoy, and he just so happened to save some money.
Nah, that Groupon was like 3 months old.
You got a problem with him saving some money?
So that Groupon is 3 months old. It was sitting there waiting in his account, and he was like, "Oh, all right, I got to use it before it expired."
So Jessica, if you can see this, that's Living Social. It's similar to Groupon, but for instance, this one is a 15 pack of red wine, right? That 15 pack regular price is $269. On Living Social, it's $53.10. 80% off. I can't hear you. You on mute.
I'm going there right now.
Yeah. So that's what I saw on Living Social, right? But like I said, and you see I don't know if you can see is it the right side up? So
oh damn, yeah.
So that's basically.
Sure, I need to give that to my aunt because she be for her restaurant.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I'm gonna mess around and get this for Ronda because she loves her some red wine.
That's a man. He's
He over
thinking
here
smart.
shopping.
He's thinking smart.
So my whole point is some women like, and I think Jessica and I discussed this before, but on a previous show where I think sometimes women equate where you take them or how much you spend on them in a date to their own personal value, and I don't think that's a good thing to do. Because if you're sitting there equating what a man spends on you to your own personal value, that's a problem. That's a real problem. Because that's not what that's supposed to be. A date is a date. I don't give a crap what the date is. Are you getting to know the person because you really want to find a quality individual? Because there are guys who make a great income, but they don't wear that on their sleeves. They want to know if that woman is into them for the right reason. So if she's into him for the right reasons, guess what? That man is going to break the bank to make sure you good. But on the front end, you've shown him you can't even appreciate the smaller things, the simpler things. So why the devil would he invest in you on the more extravagant things if you can't even appreciate small, simple stuff? That's something I don't think a lot of women think about. They think, oh my God, he did. The man is saving some money right now. He don't know you like that.
That's why I said what I said in the beginning. You know, y'all coming out here this thing extremely logically. I get it. Like, yeah, like I get it. But I promise you, the women and the people that get wrapped up in this, it's because they're going through it emotionally. And what all the thing you're talking about is like if you think, then this is what this means, and this is what this means. If you think, they're not thinking, they're feeling their way through these events and these dates and these meetups. And then also in your explanation, you smuggled in a little couple of presuppositions. And some of it is like you assume that they're dating because they want something long term. That's a bad assumption nowadays. It's a very bad assumption.
You're not wrong when it comes to that. You're not wrong when it comes to that.
As much as these people love talking about vibes, this chemistry, that, you think these people, you think that's like long-term thinking? You think that's marriage thinking? You think that they before the date started, they was off. Everything was off.
But this is one thing that, one of the many, because there's always things that you can agree on and then disagree on, or with people who speak publicly. But like one time I remember Kevin Samuels saying that, if you're being used for dinner, then you're not asking the right questions before you take her to dinner.
There you go.
So I think some men, they know that, and I think matter of fact, now that I think about it, I think the men that are more flashy, they know that the likelihood of something going further is probably furthest from the truth. Because what they're trying to do is that they're trying to impress that woman, right? So that he can get something in return. Not necessarily sex. It doesn't necessarily, we know that a lot of times that's what it is, but it's not necessarily always that. And sometimes they do it just because it makes themselves feel better. But then you will have the person that will just take you to an average dinner, or, using a Groupon. You could probably tell that it doesn't necessarily mean that the guy is broke. It doesn't mean that he's being fiscally responsible, financially responsible. It's just that he's genuinely interested, and I've told the story on our show numerous times. My first date with Billy was at Applebee's. I wasn't there for the food. I was there to see if I liked him, if I wanted to have a second date. And 17 years later, a house later, 3 children later, a beautiful marriage later, I could have looked at him and been like, oh my God, you're going to take me to Applebee's? And I wouldn't be sitting where I am. And I wouldn't have my 3 beautiful children with my wonderful, magnificent husband in this beautiful home. So a lot of times I think a lot of women cheat themselves out of a really good man over something as stupid as using a Groupon, coupon, or whatever. Or just simply saying, hey, you know what? This is our first date. I just really want to get to know you, and, Dedrick will tell you, Billy goes to the moon and back for me.
Mm-hmm.
We know that. There is no, I'm spoiled as hell. I got chickens, for Christ's sake. Right. That's why I'm not in the garage, because all of them in the garage, because it's 28 degrees for some stupid reason in Virginia. When it was 90 yesterday, but that's a different subject.
Right.
So they're in the garage clucking away. So I said, well, I'm gonna have to go in the bathroom for this call, But again, sometimes we miss our perfect man because we're worried about he used a coupon, or because he wanted to have a coffee date or meet at a not so expensive restaurant.
Yeah.
Whatever happened to the picnic center park, though?
Yeah. And that was when she said that, everybody responded to it. All the guys on at the station, Joe Claire and the other guy and me. I was like, "How you gonna say that?" And then say what you just said. You got a problem with a Groupon, but you just said that you good with it, just a walk in the park and this, that, and other. Then she says, "Well, not for the first date." I'm like, "Well, what difference does it make?"
The first, because listen, I'm gonna tell you, it's the same mentality that goes into these women that have these all-out, bang-out, what do you call them, baby showers. Mm-hmm. Why do you think they go so hard on these baby showers? Because that wedding ain't coming. So it's the same thing. Like, why are we going so hard on first dates? Because the rest of the relationship ain't coming. It's very short-term thinking.
They got
it needs to be more like, the focus needs to be investment. That's what you guys are talking about. Like, this is not investment. This is an ice cream. I want ice cream. Ice cream has nothing to do with nutrients. Has nothing to do with what's good for your body, what's good for you. It's everything about your emotions, your feeling, and the now. That's why when you do buy ice cream, it's usually the temptation is to get like a cone for like $4 or $5 rather than buying the half gallon for $3 or $2. Right? Because it's not about making a good choice for the longevity and an investment. That's not the focus.
Okay. I'm getting a bucket of ice cream.
Yeah, but nowadays, they're not people.
Matter of fact, we're gonna get 2 different flavors.
There you go.
Apparently, all these people that set up the ice cream stands at the fairs, they're not making any money, huh?
This has not been
off me. I went to Bruce's one day. It was like $10 for a cone. I was like, okay, Walmart right up the street.
Yep.
Yeah, that's like a novelty. Like those type things, just something you do every once in a while because the ice cream tastes a little different. But that's a novelty. That's something to do every now and again.
Yeah, what people like to discount is experience. Sometimes it's not about the longevity of something. You just want the experience.
No, I was gonna say I do understand the point that you're making.
The whole Groupon showing up to the first date destroys the experience.
Does it though?
Not for me. I mean, I'm married 17 years.
How does it destroy the experience?
I can't hear her.
How does it destroy the experience?
No, obviously for this woman and many other women that have the ick. Not for you. Clearly not for you. Clearly not for Jessica, because y'all got all these responsibilities in your life. I get it. It's cool. I get it. That's why I was like, we gotta get age, we gotta get life circumstances, because you're looking at life differently. You have to think about tomorrow. You can't just think about today.
No, but that's not necessarily true, because remember, me and Billy have been together since 2009. So I was a lot younger then. you know. So I could have had that same mentality, but I didn't.
I wonder what she ordered on that plate. She might have ordered something that was over $100 too.
I don't know why I can't hear her. Can y'all hear her?
I said she might have ordered something that was over $100 too.
Yeah, probably.
Mm.
Again, she's chasing the experience. Now, as a man, you if you stupid and you want to give a ridiculous experience and then not have whatever you spend be worth it, then you a dummy. Because the whole point of the first date is to create an experience and to start an investment. That's the two things. Some people just put all their chips in one basket rather than both.
Okay, so I think everybody really I got everybody's point and idea and stuff like that. And okay, so we're gonna pivot.
Hold on,
Next
hold on,
question.
hold on, Dedrick. Hold on. Somebody wants to say hi. Hold on.
Is that Momo?
What's going on?
Hey,
Oh,
What's going on?
what's up, Chrome Dome? What's up?
What's up? What y'all been up to?
Chilling,
How you
man.
doing?
Listen,
Doing well, bro.
when you show up like that, you gotta be like shwink.
What y'all been up to?
Living life,
Yeah,
bro. Happy New Year.
bro.
Happy New Year.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Merry
Happy
New Year.
for sure.
Merry New Year.
Yeah, so y'all been chilling.
Merry New Year to you.
Yeah.
Nah, ain't no chilling, man. This grind season right here. It's grind season.
Oh, there you go. So you busy.
Yeah,
Everybody busy.
We got a lot of stuff to pay for. So
You right.
yeah.
You right. What y'all talking about tonight?
All right, we got someone else on stage coming to the stage.
Ooh,
Yeah.
Victor.
How you doing,
What's
Victor?
going on?
How you doing, Mr. Victor?
How y'all
How
doing?
you doing, Mr. Victor?
All right.
What type of shenanigans y'all on?
All the shenanigans. Bro, real quick before we lose Billy, because he don't focus too long. Billy, would you have used a Groupon on our first date?
Yeah.
Why not?
You saving money? What you talking about?
So Victor, so the scenario question, the first scenario question was there was a young lady. She said they went on the first date. The young man, the first date went well. It flowed. Great vibes, great energy. She enjoyed the first date a lot. But she said she got the ick. That was her word. She said she got the ick when he pulled out the Groupon to pay for the date.
Okay.
So, or she found out it was via Groupon. So she said she felt icky. She felt, I can't believe he used the Groupon for our first date. And that's why I was asking the panel how they felt about that. Is it appropriate or is it cool? Is it not appropriate? Is it not cool to use a Groupon on the first date? That was the first scenario.
I think it's cool if the person likes you. You know, I think a person I think what a lot of people lose sight of is that relationships and mutual connections are reserved for people that like each other. Meaning that there's certain things that you can experience with the person that you're attracted to that everybody else can't do. It's just like you might be able to crack a joke on somebody where somebody else can't crack a joke on you.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true.
There you go.
It's just a boundary. You know what I'm saying? If he like you or she like you, then that's it. That's the only thing that matters.
There you go.
I don't put a whole lot of stock into that type of stuff. I think that people will look for opportunities to fail more than they look for opportunities to, you know what I'm saying, improve on the situation and make something better. when somebody don't like you, they already looking for something to disqualify you anyway.
There you go.
X.
That's
That
what
is correct.
losers do.
That's
It could be anything.
Yeah, it could be anything.
that's
Like a person
Yeah.
that's wired that way, they looking for a transactional benefit. It's
There you
really
go.
that simple. So I
Yeah.
I think, you know, like when you brought up changing narratives and all that, you know what I'm saying, before you came up here, I think changing the narrative doesn't happen until we start talking about solutions. When you start talking about solutions, the unqualified people, all they got is complaints. Every time you bring up a solution, they bring a problem. And I think it's long overdue for us to start telling people they got a loser mentality. You think like
Yeah.
a loser. That's why you always worried about what do I get out of it. That's how a loser think.
There you go.
Because if why pay attention to things you don't want when you can get whatever you want? It's like if we all went to a restaurant. I'm gonna give you a scenario, right? We all go to a restaurant. We pick the worst time of day to go. It's lunch hour. It's busy, and we got somebody in our group that gets impatient. You don't wait to go to lunch, and then you absolutely hungry to get seated, and then get service, and then complain at the lack of attentiveness when you are one of many at one table, and then the server got 1,000 tables. You know what I'm saying? However many tables. It's just not conducive or in alignment with your hunger. So you take your ass to Burger King, you know what I'm saying, or shut up and
Have it
ask
your way.
Yeah,
Have it
shut
your
up and
way.
order another drink. You know what I'm saying? Be quiet. And I think that it's the people that can't get what they want and won't accept what they qualify for that have the most to talk about in terms of setting rules. Because you can't have the least amount of resources and think that you can make the rules.
I
There you
agree.
go.
I agree.
Yeah.
100%.
I hope y'all caught that out there, and I hope that y'all caught that.
I want to qualify boundaries here a little bit. Only because now you got to qualify for something instead of just knowing who you are and accepting something that's wrong out of it and working together.
You're a little bit muffled.
Yeah.
I was saying the word qualify bothers me
You were a little
because,
bit muffled.
hold on, let me. Can you hear me now?
Why does the word qualify bother you?
Yeah.
Only because when people looking at a standpoint of being qualified instead of understanding who they are and growing with a person, it's like two different things. It's the way some things are said, because some people would be like, well, this guy's here or this girl is here, but I don't qualify for it. It's kind of like down talking yourself to a point. But then when you get to the point of understanding who you are, and you know you can't get Superman, or this guy ain't no special super character or superhero, but he's okay. We can work on this and grow together. Why do I have to qualify, or why do you even have to qualify for the female who's has certain higher expectations, and you feel you don't meet it, but you're missing out on a really good person, because at that point they don't even know, what the whole standard is for the situation. You
Well,
get what I'm saying?
I understand what you're saying on that, and I'll tell you that goes right back to what I said previously. That's a loser mindset. Stop thinking about it that way. You know what is in your lane, and you know what's not in your lane. Focus on what's in your lane. Don't worry about how things are said every time. Think about the context in which they're spoken. See, the other problem, every time when you do that, what you're defaulting to is looking for a problem. You want everything to come to you perfect, and they got to be said the perfect way. Your butterflies got to be triggered. You know what I'm saying? We talking about maybe not necessarily you, but just this scenario, right? But there are too many people that miss the fruit because they're too worried about the root. You know what I'm saying? Like they don't know the process that it took to get from in the ground to out the ground. And then getting hung up on a word is you looking for a problem where there isn't one. Because the truth is everybody's not qualified to talk to you, right? We all not created equally. We all might think we have equal value to someone that we care about or whatever, but we don't have to respect people that don't respect us. So that's the bottom line when we're talking about qualified. Not everybody is qualified for your attention, and you're not qualified for everybody else's rebuttal, attention, or anything. Nobody owes anything.
Yeah, if I could add to that, when you talk about qualified people, I guess to give some air to what she was saying as well, even to grow with somebody, they need to at least be able to qualify to be able to grow with you, at the very least. Or else, what do you like? Because if a person doesn't literally qualify to grow with you, that means they literally won't grow with you.
You ever broke up with somebody? Did you break? They didn't qualify anymore. You ever been fired from a job? You didn't qualify to work there anymore. You got people in your family that steal that can't come in your house. They're not qualified to come in your house.
Yes.
It don't matter if you love them or not. It don't matter. The facts, feelings don't matter when it come down to facts.
I think it's a setting boundaries thing.
That's the same thing. Being qualified is setting your boundary.
Okay, this is where people get confused with boundaries, though. Boundaries, the only way you can set a boundary is you got to set limits around the boundary, right? Like, yeah, exactly. It's all the same thing, just different words for the same, same concept. Because if you set boundaries, but there's no limitations to the boundary, those boundaries don't mean nothing. If there's no deterrence to those boundaries, like, okay, I set a boundary saying, oh, I don't want you, cursing at me. And then the time comes and the person curses at you. Where's the deterrent? What's the consequence? You drew a line in the sand. And if they just step on it and erase the line, then what was the point of the boundary in the first place? It didn't matter. It needs to be protected. The limits need to be set and they need to be followed through all the way.
Watch this.
I think this all goes through, men are different, women are different. We are wired different. So if a man is mostly like logic, like say not to ask for your business, I don't know if you're in a relationship or not, but if you're not, then there's certain reasons why. But if you are, then there's a certain type of girl that equaled up to how your communication is. But when you get used to somebody and both of you guys are in a relationship together, you're going to change your communication because you care about that person's feelings. Same with her. She can't come talking to you any type of way. But the thing about, I guess, the qualification where it wasn't breaking it down to like, I'm tripping off the words. It's nothing like that. It's just the fact of the matter where I guess I look at people on a level of high respect. Like, this is a person that God has created. If they chose to stay at this point of their life mentally, then it's not going to work with me. We don't work together because a lot of people are emotional now. But as far as like qualified in a job, like, and I only say this because I used to date somebody back then, and they called it a relationship like a job where you got hired or you got fired, and they have these other females that are up to a certain standard, which still leaves him alone in the end. So if you're with somebody and you really care about them, you're going to change your communication up a little bit to get a better understanding because they got your back and you got theirs. That's kind of like a perspective that I'm coming from, not just, know.
Yeah. Well, without knowing all of that, I'm keeping it completely surface right now. You know what I'm saying? Because like, look, everybody that's up here that follow my content know I only function off of, I got two principles. You're either disciplined or you undisciplined. It literally ain't no in between. If you're a disciplined person, you're going to think through things logically. You're not going to make as many emotional decisions and mistakes as you would if you was undisciplined, right? So naturally, a person that you're with, you're going to make certain exceptions. Matter of fact, relationships are for people that qualify for you to break your own rules, because you have a standard of what you value in another person in a relationship, right? And then somebody comes along and makes you create an exception for them. Relationships are supposed to be for the exceptional person, because everybody that's attracted to you does not get any type of reciprocation, right? You have to be mindful of what you choose. So of course, when you make an exception for a person, you have to make sure that you adjust the way you communicate for that person. They got to learn your language, you got to learn theirs, but you got to also understand who has the most responsibility in the relationship. That has to be taken care of. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of people without any type of situational awareness, lower level of empathy in certain areas, they're not going to all the time say the right thing to you. And you're going to have to learn what's your business and what's not your business. And the things that you can't get that other person to emotionally empathize with you with, you might need to consider taking that to a therapist, because not everybody has the communication that you want. You know what I'm saying? Meaning, like, you might have, what I mean is this, right? Let's say you needed to talk to me, and you got something that's super emotional, and you're all over the place, and you're trying to put it together to make a sentence out of it, right? And then you're not getting the response from me or the understanding from me, and I'm trying. And then at some point, I'm like, okay, look, I can't help you. You need to go talk to a therapist first to make it make sense with a therapist. And then once you get those thoughts together, then we can have a conversation that leads to a solution. It may be okay to brainstorm and vent a little bit, but you're not fixing a trauma dump on me every time you trigger by something. Go in your room and take a nap.
Do you think women think logic? Like, do you think that?
No.
They still have the responsibility to be logical. Like, just because they don't doesn't mean they're not responsible. Yeah, go ahead.
Hold up. Do I think women think logically? Are you saying generally speaking? Generally speaking,
have you ever came across a woman that speaks logic, or
have I ever come across a woman that does what?
That speaks logic, or do you think women speak logic from the different makeup? Like, that's what
the woman that I
ask.
marry definitely speaks logically. So I can't speak.
Was she like that when you first?
Huh?
Was she like that when you first met her, or was she like that when you first met her, or did it come into grips like that?
She had a lot of it already, and then later on, it just kind of came through with refinement, trust, and repetition. But like, there was a lot of it where she was emotionally expressive, but she was logical as to why. And she had to learn how to refine that. Just like I'm very direct, and I got a very, you know what I'm saying, distinct voice when I say something, because I don't be bullshit. You know what I'm saying? So like, and so I don't laugh and giggle like that. I'm not necessarily saying I'm not fun to be around or nothing like that, but respect is paramount, and women take a little bit and run all the way out with it. You know what I'm saying? They like, you giggling and y'all one minute y'all play fight, and the next thing you know, she dropping elbows off the top rope on your head. You know?
Facts.
Because she think you a jungle gym, you know? So
I believe that's true. I believe that's true. But the fact that you said it still takes, I think, even if you come and you meet the person that's like that, it can be more balanced. My whole point of asking you that was because I'm still looking at it from a perspective where men are different than women. Men think more logic than women. Some women that grew up without their father has a different way of thinking, or some women that went through things, they can't come to logic. But then you got some men that meet the girl and they're always emotional because they don't have that repetitious, reiterating. They're going to be emotional first, and then the logic may come later, but it's still a learned behavior.
that's exactly why you need to go to therapy if you move like that. Because like I grew up with my mom and my dad. That's not my responsibility to deal with your crazy ass because you can't accept leadership from a man. That's crazy as hell. Because like you could go to work and
Well, I was gonna add, so I think that I'm actually quite a logical woman. But I was also raised by my father, as a single father. My mother was in my life, but I was mainly with my father, mainly with my grandfathers. Oh crap. Is that me?
No, it's the core. I think you need to mute yours.
Oh, hold on.
I'm not sure.
No, it's cool. Cause she on Bluetooth. So yeah,
Well, I
but
was
like,
just saying, and I was raised amongst like my grandfathers. Like back in the days, you'd never really catch me with my grandmothers, right, or my aunties. They was in the kitchen cooking and cackling and laughing. I was out with the grandfather. That's why I know how to fix a car. I know how to build a chicken coop, and I can do all these things. But again, my father taught me a lot of things. So in a lot of things, I don't react emotionally. Now, that's not to say that I have no emotions or never react emotionally. But then I also, I guess because I was around men so much in my life, I know what to expect when I am in that emotional state. So for example, if I know that I don't know, I'm thinking of this problem that I think that I have, and I take it to my husband, right? I know my husband's not going to sit here and listen to me for 30 minutes, go through this whole spiel without giving me a solution, right? So for me, it's like if I want to vent, I know I need to call one of my female friends. If I want a solution, I go to my husband. Because as soon as I sit down and start talking to my husband, I know in his mind, he's already thinking of the solution while I'm talking to him about the problem. But a lot of times for us women, we think that our men are our besties that just want to hear us vent. And a lot of times that's not what it is. When we come to them and say, hey babe, I went through this at work today, you know, and you lay out whatever it was, like I said, in his mind, as soon as you start telling the story, he's already thinking about either a solution or who was really the problem. And then, God forbid, you were the problem, and he tells you you were the problem. Now y'all have a problem because you don't want to hear him say that, you know what, babe, that wasn't that other lady's fault. That was actually your fault.
yep, man. And look, is changing the narratives is a good topic because the changing the narrative also requires hurting people's feelings. Okay, like a lot of people get lost in thinking that the truth and honesty is this place where everything smells good and that everything's soft. Sometimes the truth is just ugly. Sometimes honesty is just bitter because you got to come out of delusion. And one of the delusions that both men and women share are thinking that all men and all women are the same. If you've been raised without your dad, there is just no way that you and I can speak the same language. You know the words that I know, but you don't have the same way to process information and emotion the same way that I do. There's just simply no way, because it's like horses and zebras. It's like horses and zebras. Right? You've never seen trained zebras. You've seen trained horses. They look the same, but they do not behave the same. Okay. Have you ever seen fit children raised by fat parents? You see what I'm saying? Have you ever seen a chicken give birth to an eagle? Have you ever seen a tiger give birth to a lion? We're not the same.
What about the experience part of it? If you grew up without a dad, let's say you had experience and you've gone through stuff where there's a lot of people that shaped you, and once they come across a person like you, they're able to understand your language from the experience that they've had past, let's say, over 10, 20 years.
Can I hop in right quick?
Wait a minute. I'm gonna let you do the Maurice. But who was the other person raised by?
If they was raised by their mom, but they dealt in, let's say, whether it's business or streets, by majority men or whatever they encountered, it had people telling their stories and they had to deal with it and it shaped them. Then they meet a person like you, they wouldn't be like the person, even though they were raised without a dad. They still be able to meet up to the same understanding as you through the experience and understanding those people that came involved with their life. And we're talking about over 10 to 15 years, maybe even 20.
Well, I mean, there's always some unique probabilities, but when you operate off of probability versus possibility, well, anything is possible.
Mm-hmm.
But probability is based on how many times you've actually seen it happen. And out of 10 times, 80% of those events, you're gonna meet somebody that you're compatible with, that grew up similar to you. That's what makes you compatible. Everything else is an exception.
Okay.
Yeah, what I was gonna say was a lot of times the attempt to fix those problems, people try to add a romantic partner to try to fix it. Right? Like the romantic partner, you're supposed to present the romantic partner with your best effort at a finished product. Not one that's discombobulated, beat up, and you know it's beat up, and you're hoping that person can fill that spot. Right? That's just the wrong attitude to go into any relationship if you actually want it to work. Right? Because now that person is all of a sudden becoming responsible for the very thing that you're supposed to bring into the relationship. Right? Because we don't use romance to fix the lack of stuff that's going on in your upbringing. That's not how it works.
Everybody has to know a relationship is work, period. Though when you say the word relationship, some people don't know the depths of it, so they come in there with their traumatized self, and you put up with that. But then, just like, I guess we're going to use the qualifying word, as if you know that you see certain signs in a traumatic person, you might not waste your time if they're not willing to put in the work, because you're taking
that person don't qualify.
But then that kind of goes back to what Victor said, and I guess maybe I should have added that as well, is, on top of being raised by a heavily patriarch family, I've gone through things in my life, but I recognize that I can't be any good to anybody else until I'm good to myself. So I took years and years and years of therapy, and I took heed to what the therapist taught me. So therapy, is a great thing. It's a tool that you can use. And I think that a lot of us, our pride doesn't allow us. We think that we don't have an issue, or that we, even sometimes you don't even have to go through anything severely serious to just get some therapy to learn how to manage your life better, how to manage your emotions better, your triggers, things of that nature. So, that's just to go back to what Victor said about going to therapy. It's not a shameful thing. It's a useful tool that can be used.
Yep. And I think the same rules apply as adults that apply to us when we was children. If you want to be good at something and be and get an opportunity, you have to first be receptive, and you got to be coachable.
Yeah.
Okay. And for whatever reason, we think after we become adults, or either have your own children and you become a parent, that you don't have to listen to nobody. And that's crazy. Like, you can't have the least amount of resources and think that you can make the rules. And I'm not talking about money either. If you want a man, right? If you're a woman, you want a man, you want marriage, you probably need to get around some wives and say, hey, I need to submit to what y'all can teach me, okay, on how to be decent, you know what I'm saying, for a man. And then on top of that, you need to be around men that want to be husbands, okay? Then on top, here's a scenario. You ever shopped at an ethnic grocery store before? Like a Spanish grocery store or something?
Yeah.
You know how to go in there and buy your salt and whatever else you're looking for. You can look at the price. It might be written in a different language, but you can tell the price, right? And then you can get to the cash register, and then you can complete your transaction, and boom, you get up out of there, right? You could tell your friends, oh, I love going over to the Spanish grocery store all the time, right? And then now think about that same experience, but this time you go in there and you speak Spanish. And you go in there, you wave at the cashier. You see how your eyes just lit up just then? Yeah, hola, mi amor, or whatever you want to say to whoever's in there, right? You go back there by the butcher counter. They cut your steaks up. You talking to Pablo or whoever that is back there, whatever the butcher is. You ask him about his kids and his wife and all that. You get to the same cash register and you check out with Abuela or whoever that is up there that's going to check you out. and then you leave and you had a fulfilling experience, right? What I just described, that first scenario is what women understand about men, just how to get whatever they want. And then the second experience is when you care about being useful to that man and you understand his language. Women are travelers with visas. They visit country to country, and men are sovereign. So the minute that you don't want to be in my company anymore, or your behavior disqualifies you from being in my country, we're gonna make a mutual understanding that you got to get the hell up out of here, right?
He said call ICE.
Yeah, I'm gonna call ICE on you. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna go ahead and get you deported, tied to a rocket, and get the hell on out of here. You know what I'm saying? We're the one that speak my language at. You know what I'm saying? That's the difference. See, and that be the reason. The language that y'all speak, usually, especially women raised without a father, y'all go get these simp ass niggas that's raised by women, just like you, and then be wondering why y'all can't communicate. It's always the baby daddies and the baby mamas, because they all grew up the same way. And then those same people say, the women say, I ain't gonna never listen to no man, because they mama ain't never listened to a man. They grandma ain't never listened to a man. They come from a family full of side chicks in bastard factories, and all the kids look like friends. They don't look related. But then when they come a long line, he ain't bullshit with no woman, because he grew up in a household where the women respect men. So why would we have to listen to that, right? You don't have what I want, so you're not qualified.
But I was gonna say, I'm glad you brought that up. As a wife of 17 years now, get out. I'm on the phone. See how you do that? Is that a lot of single women, they don't listen to wives, especially submissive wives, because we know that word is a whole trigger, you know. So when I've had those types of conversations with women, I get called everything but a child of God. You know, I'm a man worshiper and all this other stuff, and I'm like, okay, sis, no problem. I'll sit here in my $600,000 house as a stay-at-home mom and wife, while my husband goes and works, and I get to take care of my children, and I get to live my best life. And all I really got to do is love him, respect him, and cook and clean. That's all I got to do. He getting the short end of the stick. He got to leave the house every day. I don't. I'm trying to tell you the key to what you actually want. Because that's what you're screaming. You want a man to pay all the bills. You want a man that's going to love you, go to the moon and back for you, that's going to play with the children and take care of the children. And I have all of that. I have not a single complaint with my husband at all. But when I say things like that, it's like, oh, you're a man, I don't even know the words they use no more, because it fades away as soon as they say them. And it's just like, okay, fine, sis, keep doing things the way you doing them now. You still gonna be in the same place that you at, and I'm gonna be where I'm at. But a lot of single women, they don't want to listen to. That's like that one stupid thing that they always bring up every once in a while on the internet. They be like, if your husband if he wake you up at 3 a.m. and he say he hungry, is you gonna cook? And 90% of the women in the damn comments be like, hell no, he got hands. I ain't his mama. Well, but wait a minute.
I'm single.
I'm gonna get my ass up. You know why? Because when I was 9 months pregnant and I wanted something, he went downstairs. Hell, sometimes he went to the store if we ain't have what I wanted here. When I don't feel good, he do for me. Sometimes he don't feel like paying the mortgage, the utilities, the car note, the cars. He don't feel like doing that, but he does it, and he does it with a smile. So if he wake me up at 3 a.m, for one, I know something wrong with him, because he ain't waking me up at 3 a.m. But if he did, I'm going to take my ass downstairs and I'm going to make him whatever he wants to eat. And then guess what? The next day, he's going to be like, hey, babe, I paid the mortgage today. Thank you, babe. Love you. But all these women talk about, oh, I ain't going 50-50 with no man. I want a man to pay all the bills, but y'all ain't even trying to do nothing for it.
That is the truth. A lot of women think like that. They afraid to admit the fact that even from the old school woman and the women nowadays, because like I got 5 kids myself, so I do everything, and it's hard admitting trying to be independent and then have a guy at the same time, and then the guy that does everything. Oh, that's what I was about to say. Social media, everything that's out now, the drama queen stuff that's on TV, they're trying to meet the standard of being this. So the influence now from back in the days is totally different. And just like he said, you get the boy that's raised by his mother, or you might get the boy that's wants to be the girl, or the girl that wants to be the boy, and everything is chaotic now. So if something starts from a foundational mindset point, everybody's mindsets now is just basically messed up. You got smoking, you got all this stuff going on, and then you got the moms that's homeschooling, getting everything paid, and so now the generation looks at them like they're crazy for saying that. Shoot, my mom stays with me, and my mindset and her mindset is 2 different things. So it's just, I mean, it is what it is, and there's some women that's out here that's still single that believes in the submissive part and will admit that, okay, I got a therapist, let's go through this, and the guy will still understand. But the ratio now is not how it used to be because it's all messed up.
No. It's always been this way. It's just been revealed and you're on the wrong side of it. Because like married people are in the minority. Been in the minority for a very long time. Can you mute because the echo is crazy? I don't want that to mess up anything. What a lot of a friend of mine pointed this out to me recently too. And he said, Vic, you're in the minority. And what is the minority? I was raised in a 2-parent home. My parents was married for 42 years before my dad passed away in 2018, right? His side of the family, he was one of 10, and he was one of 7 boys, and he had 3 sisters. My mom's side of the family, she was one of 5, and she had 2 sisters and 2 brothers, right? Most families ain't like that no more because the family is what you just described. You and your mother, and you got 5 kids, right? That's the majority right there where you are. That's why most people that you connect with, or if you start a conversation that might express some kind of interest for a relationship, y'all got similar circumstances. But then if you were to meet a man that was interested in you, that was raised different than you, could you recognize it? You probably couldn't, because you didn't grow up with the same situations. You know what I'm saying? You have to do something different to get something different. Everything that feels good is probably something that's just familiar. Because remember earlier I said people get too wrapped up in thinking that honesty smells good, it looks good, and it feels good.
Ain't nothing nasty.
Yeah, but the honest part of it is that you recognize this feeling because you've imagined it and you've experienced it. So now you recognize it when it comes to you again, right?
Just trying to make sure. We're trying to make sure before you go too far, I'm on the same page with you. Because standing out of the bracket, like I went through therapy and all that before. But the reason why my mom is there is because I've allowed her to be there, but I don't involve her into my relationships because it's her mindset that backtracks everything and messes the stuff up. So standing out of the crowd would be different versus how I used to be, and understanding now why these guys that don't qualify may come, but it takes a totally different genre to understand where you're coming from and still be patient with you while you go through it. That's the thing.
Right. And even in that instance, right? You're still trying to qualify your life for the other person to understand. See, I don't have to understand that situation for what I'm saying to still make sense. You understand what I mean? Meaning, like, sometimes we overexpress ourselves instead of just letting it come to you, letting it settle, and letting it land where it could actually be useful for you later on. You know what I mean? Sometimes we disqualify ourselves because when we hear something and it's a unique conversation and we don't have any way to connect to it, you either feel like you're being challenged by it or judged by it. And this is what honesty is about. It's about accepting that you got some limitations. Whereas you've been having so many women pump each other head up and thinking they can get everything, and they can't. Because men can't have it all. So women definitely can't have it all either.
So real quick, you mentioned that your mother lives with you, and I just wanted to as the other woman on the panel, when I met my husband, my mother was living with me due to medical reasons, and I can actually honestly admit that for a long time prior to meeting my husband, that my mother was a huge factor on why I didn't dive into relationships, because I was so busy taking care of her. That again, my mother had medical issues. I'm not, sure what your situation is, and I'm not going to speculate. But I was so busy knowing that I needed to take care of my mother that I didn't dive into too many relationships. So I would meet a guy here and there, it'd be casual relationships or whatever. And then when I met my husband, it changed. And my mother adored him. He would come pick me up for dates, and I mean, hell, she would cook him a meal, and she looked at me and she told me, "Don't you dare let this one go. This is the one right here." Okay. And like, she respected him and everything. So I can understand where you're coming from. And I just wanted to make sure that you're not the only person on the panel who has gone through or going through the same experience. Now, my mother did pass in 2009, the same year that I met my husband, 2 months after I met my husband. But I can honestly say, and I've said this many, 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 many times, that had my mother not passed, I probably would not be with my husband right now, because I was so focused on caring for my mother at the time that I probably would have looked past him or just treated him like the next casual, the next casual dating scene. Does that make sense?
That makes sense. My mom, her story is totally different, but if she's not somebody that cannot be dependent on her own, and I do have a friend, but he's not our kind. I'm just gonna put it that way. Other than that, with me raising my kids and then trying to get my mom back on track, like these things, what we're facing now, as far as not having the same mindset of not being submissive or being the woman who goes to work on herself, is the thing. I may have to let my mom grow up and be to herself, so my life could be different. But if she was sick in your capacity, I probably wouldn't allow no relationships neither. So I get that perspective of where you're coming from.
Yeah, and the other thing is I also didn't have children. I was childless. So that's another difference between you and I. Like I said, I just wanted you to know that you're not the only woman on the panel. I'm not going to let them beat up on you. And I share your experiences. Even if they're a little different, they can still be viewed as similar.
I like this. I'm not afraid. I've been through a lot of stuff, but my thing is, and I have 4 boys and 1 girl, so understanding men and how they grow. I have boys for a reason, and I've been married before, but just making the crazy decisions at a young age, which it may still seem like I look young, but I'm like in the 40s. So at the time, me understanding men was growing up, my boys, and now they're teenagers and one is in college. My thing is understanding life from a different perspective, and the decisions I made back then not to make again. So that's what those are.
Hey, you're right.
Okay. So we've heard some real this points of views are makes us think a lot about a lot of that stuff, because a lot of times, early on in life when you make decisions, sometimes people don't really think about how that's going to correlate to the later part of their lives and stuff like that. But it's important that everybody kind of grow from it and learn from it and everything. So My thing is that what we're gonna do. So I got a question now. Now, when it comes to submission and stuff like that, what does that mean to you? What is your definition of that? What does that look like? Because for some reason, like Jessica said before, it's almost like a trigger word, right? And it's a trigger word because I don't feel like a lot of people understand what that means. Some guys, they'll come to the fold and say, well, you know, I'm looking for a submissive woman. Well, you're an idiot, because no woman comes to the table submissive. First of all, in my opinion, no woman comes to the table, comes to the fold submissive. She has to have something to submit to. That submission comes from trust. If you don't have that yet, you can't come in and say, well, I'm looking for a submissive woman. Not unless you're talking about in the sexual sense. And in that sense, that is what it is. You go in those particular communities and you the dominant, they're the submissive. But that's the only way that correlates when you first meet a person. But when it comes to the other side of submission, I don't think people have a real comprehension of what submission means. Because in my opinion, it does not mean, matter of fact, I'm not even going to what I think it means. I'm going to ask you, ladies first, when y'all think submission or submissiveness, what is that to you? What does that look like to you? Because for everybody, it's not the same thing. And then we're going to move on to the next point that we're going to talk about real quick. But for the ladies, what does submission look like to you? What does that mean to you?
I'll answer right quick. So for me, it just means being cooperative, not challenging his every move, his every decision. And I'll say that, like, this was not a conversation that me and my husband had to have. Like, he never said, I'm looking for a submissive woman, blah, 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 blah. His aura, his character, his values, it pretty much demanded it, if it makes sense. Because he displayed the characteristics and the values that said, you know what, Jessica, yeah, you might want to go ahead and just be cooperative, and because this is a good man and he's always going to look out for you, he's going to protect you, he's going to love you, he's going to care for you, and you need to do the same. So it's kind of a reciprocal action, because men are submissive too. They just in a different manner. It's just the word, because a lot of people, they go to the Webster dictionary and they look up submissive and it says to submit to a higher authority. So all of a sudden it's like, oh my God, he's not my higher authority. We're equal. We are equal, but we are equal in different ways. We're equal as human beings, but we are not equal on the same path. The man has his role and the woman has her role. And I mean, that's just how I've always seen it. That's how I was raised. That's how he was raised. And again, you know, it's never a conversation that had to be had. Now, for the record, I will say some of those men that come screaming, I want a submissive woman, some of them, they can't fight their way out of a wet paper bag, and ain't no woman ever going to submit to them, period. Okay? Those are the ones you run from. I will say that. But if you got yourself a good man that cares for you and loves for you, all he wants is peace and cooperation. And that's what I give my husband, peace and cooperation. Believe it or not, Maurice, I give my husband peace and cooperation.
I don't know.
I give him a little shit sometimes.
I need to hear that from Billy when you're not in the room.
Oh.
I need to bring him into the interrogation room, let him know he's safe, and everything that he says is gonna be between me and him. That's.
I am not that bad.
I'm just saying. I just know what I be getting, so that's why I'm. You know, forgive me if I don't just take your word for it. You know, so I gotta talk to Billy.
It's fine. I will submit to your answer, okay? Sorry about that. But no, again, so in a nutshell, it's just peace and cooperation. And guess what? I feel that when you give that man peace and cooperation, he's going to give you that tenfold, more than you ever give him, because he surely does. So that's my answer.
Go ahead,
I guess.
Maurice.
Oh, sorry.
Oh no, we said the ladies, right? Yeah, that's right.
That's what I was waiting on.
No, I guess to piggyback off of
Yeah,
hers,
I'm
'cause she
gonna let the
kind of.
ladies do it first.
Yeah, that DC internet be
Yeah.
acting up on them. Don't worry about it.
Oh shoot. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, we hear you. It's him. It's not you. Don't
Yeah,
worry.
go ahead. We can hear you. Yeah, we can hear you.
I guess to piggyback off of her answer, because she kind of answered it every right way you can't answer, so I only got 3 words for it. To me, it just means to like serve, support, and respect. So like it's basically serving that comes with everything if we want to be brief with it. And then respect is a big thing with men. I know that. And then support. So that's basically the 3 words I have for it.
Okay. All right, fellas, y'all can go ahead and chime in and how y'all see.
Mine's real short.
What that means to you.
Yeah,
Okay.
mine's real short. It's final say. The whole equal conversation is cute, but as far as our human spirits, if you want to get that deep, yes, we're equal human beings, and life is just as important for one as the other. Until you end up in a certain scenario, then where you actually got to choose which life needs to live, right? Then all of a sudden, the inequality shows up blaringly strong, But the short answer that I promised, sorry, was the final say. That who has the final say? That's the one who has the final say is the one that's not submitting. The one that's submitting offers up the final say willingly. Because if there's a decision, because the type of person I am, most of y'all know, like I'm not afraid to get into a back and forth, an argument. Right. So whenever people bring up that, argumentative, like I don't mind a little bit of, tussle back and forth. So we can figure out, because a lot of times people can get a little stubborn, people can get a little fixed in their thoughts. And it's in that, back and forth that, the certain ideas come out. So I find it necessary. I find it very, very useful. But if it comes to a point where, I need to pull the trigger, I need to make a call, then I need you to submit to that, to that call I need to make. If you're not going to be able to do that at any scenario, then you're not, you've pushed past your usefulness. Yeah, you're not useful anymore. You're not an appropriate team member.
No, but I have to ask. This is like after some conversation, right?
Say again?
Now, is this like after some conversation?
Again,
so let's say, for example, Billy comes home and he says, "Hey, I want to sell the house." And I'm like, "Okay, what's going on? Like, why do you want to sell the house?" He would need to talk to me and say, "Okay, because this XYZ is going on and I can't do XYZ anymore. So the best option is to sell the house." But then maybe I would say, well, what if I can come up with plan A, B, C? Would that change your mind? And then if he says, no, that's not going to work, we got to go with XYZ. Now, for me, Billy does have the final say, but we do have conversations about it.
No, I mean, your example works fine, but it also comes back to kind of like the whole qualification conversation we was having. You picked them for a reason, and there may be a circumstance. I don't like to limit it to like, this is the step that needs to happen. Yeah, when everything is, calm, cool, and quiet, then fine. Like, but I'm also thinking in scenarios where you need to act very quickly and very immediately. Like, I need you, I'm on my way home. I need you to get the gun. I don't need a whole conversation about why do I need a gun? What's going on?
Okay, that's
Right.
different.
You- That's what I'm saying. That's why I don't like to make that caveat, like, oh, after a conversation. Obviously, everything's contextual, but the whole point is you put this man in your life as a leader in your life. You
Okay,
needed to
no,
have qualified him appropriately before you put him in that position.
no, I agree. But I used the house situation, but your situation, your example is also a valid one. If he calls me and says, "Hey, get the gun," I'm automatically going to know I need to get the gun because obviously something's wrong and he needs the gun. But like I said, if he comes home and says, "Hey, I want to sell the house," I'm gonna be like, "Well, wait a minute, can we talk about this first?" Yeah, at the end of the day, if you make a very good argument and we need to sell the house, then hey, it is what it is. But at least let's talk about. But your example is also valid.
Submission is just simple respect.
Okay, Vincent, you have the floor.
Victor. It's Victor. So the concept of submission is just simple respect. When you work someplace or you have a obligation written, there's a contractual obligation somewhere, you fulfill the terms of the agreement. And one of the things that Takora spoke about was men value respect. And she said it, and not in a negative way, but that's the only thing that we value. Like nothing else matters. If you can't respect me, nothing else happens after that.
Foundational.
Like that's just it.
Mm-hmm.
And if you respect the man that you with, then you speak to him the same way you would if you was trying to keep your job. And because like the reason I talk about that so much is because it's so fickle. Because there's a degree of superiority that women believe that they have over men. They think that they can talk to men the way that they talk to each other. And you're not fixing to talk to me the way that you talk to your girlfriends, because I cuss out every last one of them. Because like I'm just gonna get right to it. You know what I'm saying? If I cuss my mom out, what do you think you rank at? You're not that special, because I'm not that special. Because if I make a mistake, I got to live with the consequences that come with that too. So if in a hypothetical scenario, I take care of you and I'm the person that you trust for all of the heavy lifting, the difficult decisions, the high earning, the high earning scenarios, the problem solving. When it's time for a decision to be made, there shouldn't be any competition in it. No competition. Like I'll give you a courtesy to bring it to you. You know what I'm saying? Just out of respect for you as well. But it's just going to be a briefing, and I will take into consideration if depending on what the scenario is. But if it's something that's got to happen, whether you approve of it or not, expect decisions to be made and expect to comply or keep it moving. Because where can a man voice his opinion?
Okay.
Without a woman trying to change his mind? Because you log on in social media, everybody's trying to tell. It's a bunch of women. It's a whole world of women trying to tell men that they wrong about what men think. So if he get in a relationship with a woman that's always trying to change his mind and make him second guess himself, why are you here? Go back online with the rest of them. Respect.
All right. Okay. Well, I appreciate that. Because and the reason why I had to ask that question in that spot was because a lot of people get what that means twisted, and that's the reason why they become so triggered, because they think that when submission is a word that's being used, it means control, or it means you got to bow down to or lose yourself for the benefit of someone else. Or and that's none of that has anything to do with what real submission means. And like Jessica said before, a lot of the times when people are trying to define this stuff, they go to the dictionary. That tells me that you have no clue what actual submission means. Because if that's where you're going to get your definition from, you're going to get it wrong every time. And I think it's important because before you even dive into the dating pool or whatever the case is, when you are of age or stuff like that, and you are really thinking about what it is that you want for yourself, your life, you worked on yourself and you're trying to figure some things out, and you, for the most part, figure some things out. You start to piece these things together, and if you are doing your due diligence, you'll understand. Like you'll seek understanding on what submission truly means and where that's supposed to come from. Like Vincent said, it's respect. For us, it's respect. That's where our love starts.
Please read my name.
It's from respect. We don't develop love until we see that we're respected.
I changed my name just for you,
Vincent.
Victor. Why do I keep saying that? I'm so sorry, bro. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry. You can change it back now. You can change it back. I don't know why I said that.
No.
I apologize.
Because you did it twice. Now we're there. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna let you strike out.
And I know this.
Yeah.
It's not even.
That's why I say I'm not gonna let you
saying
strike out.
My bad.
I'm gonna give you a prompt. It happened twice.
I appreciate it. I appreciate it. I appreciate you footing them guards up so I won't get a gutter ball. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate that. Sorry about that, because I hate when people call me Derek, and that irks me. So I appreciate that. Sorry about that.
I know two Dedricks, and you the second one.
Yeah. Oh, okay. But that's the reason why I asked that question, because I like for people to get a comprehension to what those things mean and stuff like that. So fellas, all of you now, if you make less than a woman, if you are in a dating situation where you make less than a woman, would that influence how you feel as a man? Women, would you respect him any less if you made a significant amount more than he did? How would that correlate to you when it came to you respecting the man that you're with or the woman that you're with? Do you feel some kind of insecurity as a man, or are you like, how do you feel about that scenario? If she made more than you did,
as long as it don't interfere with my goals, I don't care.
Yeah.
Well, when I was still working, I made more than Billy, and he would just slap me on my butt and call me sugar mama. It didn't change the fact that he was the head of the household. He was still head of the household. He was still the man of the house.
Okay.
Yeah.
I made more than him.
Okay.
So no, it doesn't bother me, and Maurice, I don't think it bothered him. But I also never rubbed it in. I wasn't one. I make more than you, so you can't tell me what to do. And no, my money is your money. Right. This is our money. This is our household, and that's all it was.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
If like in my experiences, all that pressure that came from that usually came from the woman that I'm with. It was never from like my own insecurities or society in general, or maintaining the family name or whatever other reason, egocentric reasons that might. It was always from the woman that I was involved with. All of a sudden, she felt like she was better than me. Like, oh, okay, ooh, right, yeah. So it was more or less that emasculation. So because of that, I won't allow it to happen anymore, because I'm not gonna put myself in that position anymore.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Cora, what you think about that situation? Cora, did she freeze up?
Yeah, she froze.
Okay. So all right.
She back.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
What y'all call
Yeah.
those?
So what, Cora? What do you think about that situation I just said?
My mind right now is on two different things. It's the same thing, but when you ask me that question, it makes me go back to saying when women started to fight for women's rights and now how the economy has changed. Because on one hand, my mom is saying God's supposed to take care
Okay.
of everything. And on the other hand, the economy is a lot. It costs a lot to live. So when you talk about 50-50 or the woman making more, I'm self-employed. So, and then I got two other jobs, but I feel I'm still coming from a perspective of love. If the guy comes, my mom always called me build a guy. So they can have nothing. And then in 3 months, we both having something. So my mindset is different towards it. And some women wouldn't like agree with that because they'll be like, well, they supposed to take care of you. And I'm like, look, I came in with this and they have that. It's good to go with somebody that have kids, but you also got to see the mindset of
Did she say
Okay.
her mom said build a guy?
Yeah. You know how they have the Build-A-Bear?
yeah, we can't say the N word, but my mom always says, yeah, she's like, well, and it's like that. My mindset is like, I can make anything happen. Come on, let's get this. I'm a go getter. But at the end of the day, sometimes those.
I guess I know she's freezing. I think what I have this is a unique conversation because I've always seen women talk about I'm not about to build a man or
Yeah.
whatever, and I'm always like, where y'all meeting men that you have to build? And
Right.
and
Right.
and because I don't come from that, so I don't understand it. So I got an
Yeah.
idea where I know it's opposite of the way that I was raised. I know that build a man is usually tied to mostly men raised by women. And that's kind of what I'm talking about.
Where are you from?
I'm from Birmingham, Alabama.
Okay. So you from the other side.
Other side of, I guess you have.
I just think
The
I think
moon.
there's a
The
difference
moon.
between building a man and supporting a man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like when you grow up in a family full of men and you see nothing but men work, and the wives take care of the kids, we just would call that dude sorry. You know what I'm saying? If he waiting on a woman to come do something for him. Now I get that geographically speaking, certain environments produce types of relationships where you have to put your resources together to you know what I'm saying, get out of wherever you are, because I know like places like New York is expensive, LA is expensive. If you from like South Florida, it's probably pretty expensive, you know. And there's some metropolitan areas where it's difficult to trust each other. It takes trust to build you know, financial partnership in a relationship, because marriage might not be the option right away. But geographically speaking, there's certain regions that are not set up for families. Like there's a reason why, like you go up north, if you know some people from New York, all of them mix with Puerto Rican. You know what I'm saying? There ain't no family reunions. They 1 or 2 steps removed from having a relative in Rikers Island. They ain't got no long line of grandparents and none of that stuff. And that's why people move down south. You know what I'm saying? When they want 2-parent homes, they want to raise the kids, they want their kids to see their grandparents, both sides of the family. That's a completely different experience than what most people can relate to, you know. So when you start talking about build a man, and there's so many women that got that same story, I'm like, well, where's this happening at?
Yeah, like I said, I think there's a huge difference.
Okay.
I think it's more or less growing together, supporting one another versus just building a man. I'm not here to build Billy. I love Billy to death. I'm not building him, but I'm going to support him through everything that he does, the same way that he supports me through anything that I do. In anything
okay,
that
so I
can
think we
do
got
to
Cora
help
back,
him.
and she's unfrozen. So
She unfrozen.
Building sounds like trauma bonding.
Right.
okay, Cora.
There she go.
Okay, so we got you back. So go ahead and finish what you were saying, Cora.
don't know why Rocky is missing. I guess to shorten it up real quick would be from the women's movement when the women wanted to, do the same thing a man can do. I think it started there to mess it up. But then now I say my mom says how a lot of times, you're a builder guy. And it's not that I can work with just about like anybody. It's just if on their end they're willing to put the work in. Because you could have nothing and go to something. I've seen stories like that. Like I believe in like real love. A lot of people don't understand what love is. They're just out selfishly or that's how a lot of people, they may get over me because I just have that heart. Like my mindset is not like everybody else's. I'm more so, hey, look, we can get here in 3 months if we work together. So I'm more so like that versus the person who really don't want nothing for themselves. And I grew up without my dad. So my thing is just raising kids and getting around other people to tell them about this perspective, but they don't believe that no more because women now are doing the same thing men are doing and the economy is expensive. Over here on the south side or Maryland side, it's not the same from Alabama or those different countries. It's definitely like not the same. That's why I was wondering, how is he talking like that? Because we don't see that around here, but it's very few.
I feel like I missed a lot.
Okay.
But the overall is that I believe I wrote this earlier. I said I believe women are more red pill than men are, because the women that you're describing that have embraced the feminist ideology or whatever. If men thought like that, then you really have less options. You know what I'm saying? Because like the women are the ones that control their access to healthy men, that they say that they want, but they're the ones that change the date market for other women like you. Because now the men are like, I'm cool, because most men have spent 30 years by themselves and being played with by women that is indecisive and being fooled by, short-term affection relationships. And it don't take much for a man to be completely off the market. You know what I'm saying? It like literally don't take anything, because you got to understand, men and women live different scaled lives, right? In the first part of your life as a girl, you spend the first 20 years of your life being told yes to everything. Nobody tells you no. And then even when you don't get what you want, somebody keep telling you you can go do it, no matter what. But as a boy, you get told no to everything. Matter of fact, you get told that you have to say yes to everything while being told no to everything. And then you earn your way, and then you got to start telling people to shut the fuck up. You know what I'm saying? And then that's so hard for a lot of men to do because you've been groomed to say yes to everything. Okay? While women have been groomed that nobody tells women no. So you always think that there's an option because you've never gone without. Men spend the first part of their life being denied everything. And I don't think really women understand that at all. So 1 or 2 times of disrespect and a man has earned some self-respect, you tell us 1 or 2 times, no, we don't mess with it no more. Like at all. So like, why would men go out of their way to find some woman that's just gonna disrespect his attempts at him? Like, and then women still end up throwing back out in the social media atmosphere. Oh, men just scared. They fear rejection. And shut up. We don't fear nothing, especially not no rejection from no woman. Especially when we have other things that we have to overcome in our personal lives anyway, that are far more important than wondering if a woman is going to reciprocate what we put out. And especially when she claiming she want a leader and she don't want to listen and don't want to go find a way to be a better listener.
Like I said, women just been taught to do that. I mean, sometimes
I think at this point they've taught each other to do this. This hasn't been men. This women's issues with relationships are all just with women.
But they don't have an example from it because they're emotionally unstable.
That's because they worship their emotions and they worship their mothers. Because if they listened to men and applied what men tell them, they would get what they're looking for.
You know, the perspective you saying that from, I feel that because, and I'm just gonna say it like this, it could be another way I could say it. You're from Alabama. You sound like authoritative, dominant, the way a man should be. You got men here, and a lot of people are not in that mindset. Like Dietrich could be one in 1,000 here in Maryland or the DMV. Let's put it that way. And then the ones like you said could have been through so much stuff. They're like, man, forget this. I don't even need a relationship at that point because they dealt with so many broken women that have not, wanted to research or learn how to get better. So now at this point, if I'm sitting here and I'm learning something, or if I'm learning to better myself and go through whatever I went through, and I meet somebody who has nothing, and I'm supporting, I guess I'm use that word, for them to get somewhere, but they're so used to certain things, the things switch back around, and now both parties have nothing. So I think it's the different area or the different genres that come, like I said, from Alabama, North Carolina, South Carolina. The guys that come to visit that's from there, they talk totally different than the DC men and the Southeast men and the men that's just here now. So that's what I see, or that's what I'm hearing in every group, even my clients, even the schools that I teach in. Even when I go to the supermarket.
Time to relocate. You need to go to a different supermarket and learn how to speak the language.
Where's that supermarket? That means I got to get in the plane and go all the way somewhere else.
Oh,
I live in Texas now.
See, that's the worst you could ever do is complain to a man that just gave you some advice about the work you got to do to get whatever it is that you got to do. Because that automatically comes with whatever decision we have to make.
Mm.
Like, if I make a decision, what comes along with that is all the work that comes with that decision.
That's true.
Yep. And we, like, men and women both trade their bodies to get what they want. Like men, hard labor, whatever. Like for instance, like I work in the wind industry. We climb those tall wind turbines and we swap out engine parts, okay, at 300 feet.
Lord.
You see how you just responded to that?
Yeah, I know it's real.
Yeah, it's real. It's
Lord have
windy.
mercy.
It's dangerous. Okay.
Yeah.
Most men don't want to do that.
Yeah, I'm most men.
And on top of that, I'm not gonna be with a woman that's gonna give me a hard time while I've been at work. Okay. I don't want to hear about what we can deal with her problem. Well, matter of fact, you do better solving it first and then telling me what happened. And then we can talk through it and prevent it in the future. But I got different stresses, and I don't want to put my stresses on anyone else. So save your overreactions. And you know what I'm saying? But that's the thing that a lot of women don't do. That big pause that you could take will make or break the other person, because you don't know what they standing on. Just like you got clients, you do whatever you do. You know what I'm saying? I see that you work in media and entertainment, and whatever that entails. I'm sure you got some difficult clients. You know what I'm saying? And on one particular day, they can wear you down, and even then, anybody can step on the wrong word for you and it tear you up, right? But you also have to understand that they don't know what you got going on. So you have to exercise a pause before you respond and then come back. So the hardest advice to take is the one that we know already, the answer. You know what I mean? And so, like, to Maurice's point, so every time men have gotten what they got, they earned everything they got. Nobody handed us anything. The easiest thing for a woman, I believe this, the easiest thing that a woman can be in is a relationship. Because all you got to do is be nice and play with his meat.
That is true.
It works.
Yeah, come on. Be nice and play with his meat.
So
Yeah.
You're going to play with some meat anyway.
Yeah, you touched on something else, because the women nowadays, they're not looking for easy. They're looking for excitement.
They're looking for magic.
They're looking for excitement without consequences. And that's what usually gets them in trouble. Because, you know, the whole concept like FOMO, or the grass is always greener, right? That's the excitement they're looking for without any of the consequences that comes with that. Like, as men, we understand when you make a decision, it comes with either positive or negative consequences. The consequences will come, period.
Are we talking about working women or women who just out here being crazy?
I didn't make a distinction.
Okay.
Yeah, because whatever you do for work, you got to lead that at work. You know what I'm saying? If you want a relationship, you still got to figure out how to show up for that too. So like you gotta pick what you qualify for. You got to think about what you do. Like if you a librarian, how healthy do you think your relationship is with a pill popping rapper? A pill popping rapper.
You can feed them rhymes.
Yeah,
like
yo. You a librarian. He on tour doing whatever he doing. How healthy do you think your relationship gonna be?
That ain't gonna mix.
That's the point. Like men have to take all these things into account too.
People ain't thinking this way though. If you meet a guy that got 3 kids and you got 3 kids and y'all come together and they got the same thing, that might work. But if you meet a guy that got no kids and you got 5 and they never understand because they're always free and you're not, that's a little unbalanced.
Yep. And then too often, like when earlier when you brought up the table, I hate the table conversation. I hate it. But in that mix, when you go another level down, you bring in 3 kids to the table and they might have behavioral issues. And now you got an instant liability. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And you don't want him to discipline them because the women be the main ones talking about they don't want nobody else disciplining their kids. Mm-hmm. Well, no, you stay over there and raise your little husbands.
Little demon children. Yeah.
Yeah, you go over there, raise your little.
That's the hard for the women that allow it. That's the type of women that make it hard for the women that allow it. For real.
Yeah. For real. And they all raised the same way. I'm telling you that's where the issue is. The compatibility issue. Like this is the crazy part, right? The men that women complain about the most are raised just like them, and the women that have these complaints with men of these same men also reproduce with them, and then complain about them, and then say I keep meeting the same type because you the same type. So that's the realization when you go down to ground zero. At some point, you got to figure out, say, look, I'm the common denominator in all of my outcomes. And you got boys. So I know you have to tell them these things. You know what I'm saying? But isn't it crazy that adults will not apply the same guidance that they give their children? They make excuses that they wouldn't accept from their own children.
What you mean as far as what you mean?
Let me give you an example, right? You take your kids to school.
Mm-hmm.
You get ready to get out the car, you give them the pep talk. You say, hey boys, you do X, Y, and Z. If you're not sure, you call me if you don't see another adult, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can go do your thing. 3 hours later, your phone ring. Say your boys did exactly what you told them not to do. You pick them up, and then they get in the car with you, and you say, hey, why y'all went up there and disobeyed everything I told y'all? And your kid looked you in the eye like this to say, you ain't say nothing about them white people. Look how your mouth just folded up. You slap their lips.
See, that's a different thing. It's a different genre. No. Their own voice. I do let them have their own voice.
No, we're not talking about your scenario. We're not talking about your scenario. See, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, you gotta absorb that. You gotta absorb it first before you respond.
What I just described. You're trying to make it something else. I'm telling you what it is. Don't tell me your version of it. Listen, that's exactly what I'm talking about. Deal with what's in front of you, not what you want it to be. Solve the problem that's in front of you first. You cannot move forward trying to interject your scenario in everything. And that's where women fail at the most. They don't respect the boundary. That's manipulation. That's all that is. Because if you're trying to make what you're talking about as the main thing and you got here last, then what kind of sense did that make?
As far as the man coming into a situation that you ain't got handled, right?
I mean, it could be anything. If you can't solve the problem, why are we going to listen to you?
This is like a double jeopardy, because like I get what you're saying on so many different levels. It's like 3 different ways that this can be interpreted. But the example you just used from if a girl come over and a guy comes over and he bring his kids and they all got attitudes, but she say, you know, you can't discipline the kids. Then from that perspective, you know, she need to handle her business before she even starts talking to the guy. That's what I think I'm picking up from it.
No, I had moved on from that side of it. We were just saying in general, if you got a situation with behavioral issues, that's another bag of tricks. I'm saying that women overcomplicate things because they hear the voices in their head. See, like you went back to that, you missed everything else that I said.
I'm trying to get it. That's all.
No, you're trying to make what you was thinking the topic. You don't realize you're doing it, but that's what you're doing. And that's a big gap in communication between men and women, because we're not just talking, we teach it. You don't know our language. Remember, that's why I went to the grocery store analogy. Your scenarios don't matter when you're talking to men if you want a man.
I mean, it's no different than get a job, right? No different. Yeah, I'm saying it's no different than getting a job, right? You show up, you ask them what they want. Because, I mean, if it don't work for you, then you move on to the other one. Bottom line, you can't be out here with no job. So you're going to go from job to job or from application to application looking for the thing that works for you. Eventually, you're going to realize, you know what, my standards are too much. I maybe need to lessen it. Like the $30 an hour may not be possible. I may have to take $15 an hour because I know I want 30, but you know what? 15 is probably all I'm going to be able to get because that's what I need right now. And then you make that work. And then whatever that $15 an hour job is asking from you, you give it.
Man, look, the stuff that you think is important to you, like let's say you got a man that's actually entertaining you, the stuff that you think is important to you and that you don't know how to ask the question yet, maybe that's the time where you go get a therapist and then bounce the question off, and that therapist can help you learn how to ask certain questions. You can't solve everything in one conversation. You have to solve most of your questions about a man gonna get answered by the example that he said. And if you're quiet enough, you probably won't have to ask a lot of them questions. Because if you're getting up with a feminine man, you're gonna always be in doubt.
I mean, by his actions, basically. You ain't gonna stay too long if you see some stuff, right?
If he talk more than what he do, he ain't shit. Okay?
I like what you just said, Victor, where observation, you know, and you see how y'all, I've been quiet, but I've been listening, I've been observating and you know, observing. Yes, thank you for the correction, Maurice. But anyhow, like even down to Billy, right? When I first met him, I observed him. I observed him and how people treated him. I observed how he was with his parents, how he was with his peers. I observed how his peers treated him. You know, I just watched everything. And a lot of times when you just sit back and you don't have to ask a lot of questions. You don't even have to talk a lot, to be honest. But if you really pay attention to a man, especially one that you're interested in, and you will see if that is the right person for you more through observations than you are going to find through questions and communication. And one thing that I'll also add, it's the same thing. I was an employer for over 20 years. And I remember back in the days, they used to give you these stupid little scripts that they wanted you to ask specific questions like, well, what would you do if you saw somebody stealing? And what would you? And I never asked any of those questions. I just had a basic conversation. I paid attention to their body language, to how they would answer. And I just had conversations, more personal conversations. And I learned more about people in that aspect by asking direct questions like, but what do you want in life, and what do you want to do, and where do you see yourself in 5 years? And I think that even in the dating world that applies, even though I haven't dated in 17 years, so I might be a little rusty, but in the dating world, I think that applies too, because when you start to ask questions instead of observing, people can easily just tell you what it is they think that you want to hear.
Would you say it would be given up to try different races or stay within your lane as that Victor?
I would ask some questions before you make this leap, and I'm about to hurt maybe some of your feelings on this one. Okay, let me ask a couple questions to see where you are with this, because you brought up races. I definitely didn't know you was gonna go this way, right?
Yeah, I want to. Let's go.
All right. What percentage of Black women do you believe are marrying outside of the race?
Only the ones I see on Facebook.
Okay, if you give me a number, like,
Um,
do you think it's more than 30% or less than 30%?
I think it might be a little more than 30%.
Okay, you're extremely wrong. So
Very.
I'm going to tell you right now, Black women marry outside the race at a single-digit percentage. I'm talking somewhere between 4 to 9%.
And I'm pretty sure it's least than any other race.
Oh yeah, it is. And
Yeah,
don't worry about this. Maurice, hold up. I got some things to say about this right here. Okay. So, single-digit percentage. And we're going to be generous and just say, we'll say 7%. So that means what races are you going to, what race would you say may be most interested in marrying American Black women that are also single mothers?
Hold on, say it again. What race is what?
What races do you believe would be available to you?
Caucasian.
Okay. What percentage of Caucasian men are interested in Black women?
From where I am and what I know, maybe 3%.
Is actually 0.03%. So 99.7% of white men marry white women. And so
I got
you're only working with 0.03% of white men, okay? All white men in general.
Mm-hmm.
And so here's the thing too. Those white men are not desired by their white women. So in general, you both are settling for each other. So what I guess the next thing is like, why do you feel like you have better options outside of your own race?
Some of the attitudes may be better, and most of the people, this will go back to area again, are already consumed in a relationship as far as married or just the attitudes in general and not wanting anything in life. Just that in general.
So it's more logical for you or more advantageous for you to change your race of dating preference than it is for you to change your zip code?
Financial wise, I would say yes.
Wow. I just don't. I guess mathematically, because men think logically. You know what I'm saying? We look at where we are. It's like purchasing a house. I mean, like, hey, to make it sound transactional, but you got to give something to get something, right? You can't get something you never had if you're not willing to trade for it in some kind of way. And do you have kids that are all the same race?
Yes.
How old is the youngest one?
6.
Do you think a man from another race would be comfortable with being a stepdad?
So far from what I've seen, yes.
Okay.
Was that a yes or no?
So far from what I've seen, yes.
Are you getting any type of interactions with men of other races that might be interested in you like that?
Yes.
So what's the hesitation? Why the question in the first place?
Yeah.
What hesitation?
Yeah, so like
you brought up the question of race, and I'm trying to figure out, because you said they're interested. That means you're not in a relationship with them. So that means there's a hesitation.
No, you're talking about other, not my friend. We're talking about, I guess he was saying, is there other people interested in it? So I always like to be truthful. So I had to think about it for a second, and I was like, okay, yeah, because I think I do overthink. I know that.
Hold on. Let me get this. Yeah. So you say that you have white men that are interested in you, correct?
Yes, you said different races. They're not all white.
Oh, excuse me. Different races. You have different races that are actually interested in you, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So the fact that they're interested in you makes me assume that you're not in a relationship with any of them.
No.
Okay. So that automatically shows me there's hesitation.
No,
right?
I'm in a relationship with somebody, but they're not my race. They are Caucasian. But when he asked the question of, is there people of different races interested in you? I said, yes.
Okay. So you are in a relationship with somebody that's outside your race.
Yes.
But then why the question?
Because this is actually my first time crossing the field to have a friend that's in a different race, because I was nervous about it. I have clients, lady got 9 kids, married, all that. And then another person just met the other day, married to one. So I said, well, let me try something different. So my hesitation is still up in the air of by saying yes finally to seeing where it will take me.
How old is this?
I was just gonna ask, how long have you and this person been in a relationship?
About a month and a week.
How does he take to your children?
I've never let him come to my house yet, but he picks them up from practice and brings them back home, and he's willing to help, but I'm still learning him, so I don't really give him access to my kids all the way like that.
Does he have kids?
But you let him pick them up from practice by himself?
The older ones. I have a 17-year-old and I have a 15-year-old. My daughter stays with me at all times.
Does he have kids?
Yeah.
No.
No, he does not.
Oh,
no.
Lord.
No.
Yeah, no. I'm saying, no.
Get out of there. Get out of there right now.
Okay, let's hold on. Let's pause for a second. So let me just do our break before we close it. We can finish the conversation off. But so Cora, let them know what you do, how they can find you and stuff like that, and what you want the public to know about the businesses and stuff like that.
All right. Well, first and foremost, my sole business, I'm a licensed cosmetologist, a formal clown that I converge my hair business with my entertainment business. So when kids come, I specialize in tender-headed kids, give them activities and everything at the Hair Lounge, which is my shop. And now I'm working on a program, drug program, because we have a lot of teenagers, middle schoolers, and everybody who's interested in vaping and getting caught up into the field. So that's my project that I'm working on now. And the name of my business is the Hair Lounge. Located in Waldorf, and I sub teach in the DMV area in high schools, middle schools, and also elementary. So that's all for now.
All right, thank you so much, Ms. Cara. And she, and for the record, she does amazing work on her hairs and stuff like that. I've seen it over and over again, and she does amazing work. I don't know what she got in her fingers, but she's like that. And she's very creative too, because a lot of her products and merchandise and stuff is brilliant, and I've seen it and whatnot. Victor, let them know how to find you, what you do, how to find your podcast, your book, all that stuff. You know what to do, man. I ain't got to tell you. You know what to do.
You can look me up on YouTube at Accountable Masculinity University. Accountable Masculinity is also a book that I've written, and it's my philosophy. It's built on 5 principles. Men focus on themselves. We don't argue with women. Decentralized leadership, meaning knowing when to lead, when to follow. Legacy and equity, meaning everything you do counts. So be excited about doing the right thing. And the practice of sexual discipline. Just because you can doesn't mean you should reciprocate sexual attraction from everyone that shows it to you. You can find me on Facebook by name, Victor Vincent. You can find TikTok, Accountable Masculinity, called AM Radio 2026. And what else? Yeah, and you go on Amazon to find my books. Matter of fact, I'll drop a link real quick so we can continue the conversation. But man, I got a podcast called Beyond the Algorithm, previous one called Code Talk, and I try to network with other content creators, and we kind of help each other's timelines out and share information and try to leave the room a little bit better than when we found it.
Right. I appreciate it.
I mean, I can add some more, but I ain't trying to.
I thought you froze up.
Now, hey, look, you want me to say something close?
All right, I appreciate that. Yeah. We're not gonna cut it off just yet. You'll be able to close.
Don't do nothing that you can't expect.
I want to make sure I get.
But say, don't do anything that you can't explain to your children with a straight face. That's it.
Lord have mercy. Woo. Woo.
If you do right by your kids,
yes, sir. Yes, sir.
When you say that, because I'm an honest mom, so when you say that, some parents don't tell their kids a lot of stuff. So can you at least break one more detail down with that, what you just said?
Make the disciplined decision. Remember I said earlier, a lot of parents, a lot of adults make excuses that they wouldn't accept from their own children.
Mm-hmm.
Don't make the same excuses that you wouldn't accept from your own children. So don't put yourself in a position where you got to say, well, I didn't know. Well, other people was doing it, so I did it too. You sound like a child.
Makes sense.
So if you look at every scenario where, like, if I make this choice and if I don't get away with it, you're already doing the wrong thing if you got to think that you got to get away with it. You know what I mean? We need to be more excited about doing the right thing. And if you make that your cornerstone, your pivot point, you'll start to see the demons in other people. You'll start cutting people off. If you got some friends that's hoes, you'll start to see them different. They'll smell funny. You'll start recognizing dangerous situations. It'll just all reveal itself. I'm trying to tell you. Discipline. It's the only thing that separates human beings.
All right, Maurice.
I'm just here.
That's true. All right, Maurice.
Oh, I thought you was talking to. I forgot that delay is killing me, man. But I just moved my studio, so I haven't set it up yet, but when I get things up and running again, I'm gonna be dropping up some new songs on my channel. You can check out my old ones on Maxi Studio on YouTube. So yeah, that's that.
All right. Jessica, you got something to say, ma'am?
You know I ain't got nothing to say.
Best mom
I will
ever.
soon though. But look, soon I will because I'm working on some stuff. But it's like farmer country girl stuff. But when I get it up and moving, because I've been breeding my
Okay.
chickens, and then I'll start. I'll open my own little thing,
Yeah.
and I can do it then. But I will say, I can't say this is always. Maurice does make some awesome music. With the guitar, I love the guitar, so he has awesome music. So if you find his music, it's definitely worth it. And with Victor, I've known Victor for quite a couple of years now, and we're in the same groups, and we've chatted quite often. And he's very reputable and knowledgeable. And then, of course, my good friend Dedrick, and he's going to tell you what he does next. And before he does, I will say, all I'm going to say is his cookies are delicious.
Yes.
It's a party in your mouth.
Yes.
That was Jessica's version of nothing to say.
Well, I
Sounds
get
like my virgin ears.
right. So last but not least, my name is Dedrick. I'm the owner of Mr. Craves Cookies. I do homemade cookies and bars. I got customers in about 33 states. I have over 55 plus different kinds of cookies and stuff like that, man. So I can ship them. I can get them to wherever you at, and whatnot. But you can find me on Instagram at Mr. Craves Cookies. That's MrCraves Cookies on Instagram. Check me out. And if you're feeling froggy, you can leap over there to TikTok as the Mr. Craves on TikTok. That's CRAVES. No crazy spelling and whatnot. But we are last but not least, I want to give a shout out to another one of my sponsors for the show, Meet the World Image Solutions, where the founder, Dr. Miranda M. Lawson, my bae, she's a literary, she has a literary services company. So if you're writing a book, you need a book done, edited, proofread, all that good stuff. She does a whole lot of that, and she's great at it. So you check her out at mtwimagesolutions.com. That's MTW. That means Meet the World. So it's Meet the World imagesolutions.com. That's mtwimagesolutions.com. So just check her out and stuff like that. If you have folks that's trying to be an author, I'll be an author. Well, I actually technically am. So if you guys want to check us out, because we always talking about men's mental health over on our side in the Unspoken series. Unspoken is a couple of books which is an anthology of different men talking about their different aspects and what they look at when they think about men's mental health. So you guys can go and find Unspoken. The author is Pamela Coleman. Check it out. It's about men's mental health. So if you want to check that out and you're interested in that side of things, please do. I have a chapter in each one of those books and whatnot. So go and check it out and see what we're doing because it's only going to get bigger. Men's mental health isn't going anywhere. So thank you guys so much for and I want you guys to pour into Victor's podcast, Maurice's music, and Cora's legacies and things that she's doing and stuff like that, guys. We want to support each other and be there for each other. So, and again, I really want to thank everybody who's been on the panel tonight and whatnot. I appreciate y'all for real. And we're going to be doing this, like I said, every Thursday night, Eastern time, 8:30. And I think Victor you what? So if it's 8:30, it's what 6:30? No, 7:30 there.
Yep.
Or is it 6:30?
Yeah, I'm over by Vic too. We're in the same area, so yeah, 7:30.
So it's 7:30 Central. Okay. But yeah, that's what we'll be doing every Thursday night, 8:30, and yeah. But thank you so much, Victor, for your input. Absolutely needed. I want to make sure you get on here again. I don't know when you'll be available, but again, I really appreciate your input. And Cora, thank you so much for your input. Jessica appreciates it, because she's always looking for more women to come on here to have her back, because I swear Maurice be eating her up. You know what I'm saying? He just be irking her nerves. No,
Maurice do not be eating me up.
Listen, y'all need to stop saying it that way. Y'all really need to stop saying it that way. I'm just saying, like, come on
you're
now.
right. You're right.
I give Maurice a run for his money.
What'd you say, Victor?
I'm not old enough to hear that.
Yeah.
I give Maurice a run for his money. That's all. We just bump heads, and I don't back down, and he don't back down. That's all.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's how. Okay, wait till we hang up.
All right. Well, listen, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna. Oh man, but thank you guys